In this video, I'm going to be answering a question from the comment section of one of my most watched YouTube videos, which I'll link right here. And I find this to be a very good and challenging question to answer, so I'm going to do it to the very best of my abilities by being as honest and open as possible. And this question comes from Arturo Hermida. I hope I'm saying that right. And they asked, "Hello, I like your video, but I have my doubts with the job market in St. John. Can you do a video about the topic?" Absolutely. For those of you who it's your first time tuning in, thank you very much. My name is Brandon Vincent. I'm a real estate agent here in St. John, New Brunswick with eXp Realty. I've been actively selling real estate for over 3 years. I was born and raised here in St. John. And my goal on this channel is to give you as much value about this city and real estate as possible. What you're going to be hearing about in this video today is some statistics on the employment in St. John, some of St. John's major employers, my experience working and growing up in this city, looking for work, and my personal opinion on how you can do your best to find employment here. Now, to preface this video, I do understand that everybody is in a different circumstance and situation, and I do completely understand that there are things that are going to limit some people's abilities to find work, and there's situations that make it more difficult for other people to be able to find work, whether it be financially, physically or mentally. I understand that there are illnesses, there are injuries, there are sicknesses, there are things along those lines that do make it difficult for people, but I'm talking on a broad scope about this subject. So I just want to say that I do understand that there are some very difficult situations out there. So I'm just talking broadly and from personal experience. We're going to start off by talking about some statistics that was recently published in a news article by the Huddle, which is a local news source here in St. John. And it says the province's unemployment rate dropped a healthy 0.6 percentage points from 8.5 to 7.9%. However, nearly 2,000 jobs were lost in the province in December. Unemployment only dropped as much as it did because nearly 5,000 people left the labor force. So the reason that I don't want to get too deep into the statistics on the employment here in St. John is because they can be very skewed. So even though the unemployment rate has dropped, the reason it's dropped is because people have actually left the labor force. So I'm not sure if that's actually painting a very honest picture. I could sit here and say that the unemployment rate is dropping and things are good, hoorah. However, there's a lot more to look at, and we are going to cover that here. And looking at statistics over the last couple years, it's very difficult to distinguish exactly what is going on because unfortunately, we've been through some very strange times lately where things aren't really as normal or as they have been. We're seeing more people being able to work from home. So there's lots of folks coming from different provinces that are able to keep their jobs in these big offices, realizing that they're able to work from home on Zoom calls, work remotely at home offices, and still get the same production to their company. So they're able to actually live pretty well wherever they want while still maintaining their employment and income at their previous jobs. And that leads me on to saying that we have more opportunity now than we've ever had before. 20 years ago, working from home to be employed by a company in, let's say, Ottawa was not an option, but today it actually is. So I think that there are a lot of options out there when it comes to finding employment. They may not be the traditional thoughts of what work was, but we're living in a time right now where there is so much opportunity right at our fingertips. If you have access to internet and a cell phone, there are so many things that you can make happen, and I do truly believe that. Now, with that being said, I want to mention some of the major employers here in St. John, New Brunswick that either have their headquarters here in the city or they're just big players here offering a lot of employment. And they are Air Canada, Bell Alliant, Canada Post, Canada Revenue Agency, Canada Blood Services, the City of St. John, Cloud 5, Cook Aquaculture, IBM Canada, Innovation Limited, Irving Oil Limited, JD Irving Limited, NB Power, New Brunswick Community College, Cytel, TD Insurance, the University of St. John, Workplace Health and Safety Compensation Commission, Wyndham Worldwide, and Xerox, just to mention a few. Now, before I get into some tips and skills that have helped me land solid jobs and employment here in St. John, I just want to tell you a little bit about my background, just so you understand a little bit more of where I'm coming from. So I started working at 14 years old at a local produce store that was right by my high school on the east side of St. John. So I walked in there with a resume in hand because I needed a little bit of extra spending money as a kid. So I walked in there and I asked to see the manager, and I made sure I gave them my resume, and I showed them my enthusiasm once I handed it to them, and showed them my excitement and how much I wanted to work there, which led me to landing a job very early on in my life, where I started to experience very early on what it was like to maintain a part-time job. From there, I ended up joining the military at 16 years old. I worked as a reservist in the military on the summers of when I was in high school and on the weekends in school, and then during the weekdays, on the evenings, I was at my local produce store cutting lettuce and carrots and all those good things. A few other things that I've done in the city include working at CAA as a roadside representative. I have worked as a commercial diver doing all kinds of underwater work locally here. I have opened up a local business where inside the Rockwood Park Lily Lake Pavilion, we opened up a spa called Pangea Wellness Spa. It was owned by myself and my mother. We had an equal share partnership on this, and I did that for about a year and a half, right up until things got weird, and then I jumped into real estate, and that's currently what I've been the most passionate about, and I've always gotten in trouble for talking at all my other spots where I was working, and now I finally found something that I get paid for. Where I used to get in trouble for talking, now I get paid for it. So it's worked out really well. I really love it, and that's what I'm most happy with right now. Now I'm going to cover my tips for anybody that lives outside of the province that is looking for work. I would send resumes to every single spot in St. John. So I would Google anywhere that sounds relevant to where you want to work and send them a resume. And I would relentlessly be calling them and following up and letting them know how passionate you are, how energetic you are, and how excited you are to work for these companies. And you have to set yourself above everybody else, because when there's competition for work, you have to do things that are different. Don't just send a resume and then hope that they call you back, because that has never, ever, ever worked for me. Ever. The only time I've ever landed a job here is by going in, actually asking to see the manager, handing my resume right to the manager, and saying, I want to work here. When can I start? When do I start? You have to show them with conviction. You have to show them with your eyes, with your attitude, with your energy, with your posture, with your conviction. And I understand that that might be difficult for some people, but those are the things that you have to do in order to guarantee your job. I truly believe that if you are relentless in the pursuit of finding employment, you are able to just about anywhere you are. So if you're coming from outside of St. John, it is very important that you do your homework and you do your research prior to coming here, and make sure that you make yourself known to all the employers locally here prior to coming. And you do that by sending resumes and being relentless in the follow-up. Being relentless in the follow-up is the absolute key. And for those that do live here and currently are struggling finding employment, like I said before, I personally have had the best success by actually walking in and asking to see a manager or the owner and making sure you give them your resume, and you want to make an impact with that person. You want to be memorable, make them laugh, crack a joke, smile, but also be very professional. So show up looking good, show up looking your best and feeling your best. Make sure you get a coffee and beforehand, and then go in and talk to them, and you're pitching yourself. At the end of the day, it's almost a sale. You're selling yourself to that individual. I know that might not be fun for some people, but at the end of the day, it's what you have to do in order to separate yourself from the competition in the workforce. I hope this video has been able to bring a little bit of value and a little bit of knowledge as to what the employment is like here in St. John. I didn't want to go too deep into the statistics of it because, like I said, those can be skewed, and I could sit here and say, hoorah, our unemployment's dropping, but the case is the reason it's dropping is because a lot of people are leaving the labor force, and things have been changing so much. There are so many different new opportunities out there right now. You almost have to be innovative in the way that you are finding employment and be flexible to try new things. So if this video did help, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to be making videos every Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday as well. So 3 videos a week for moving forward, because this is my passion, talking about St. John and real estate, and I want to make sure that I'm portraying the city in the best possible way, but truthfully and honestly as well. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the next video.